I'm going to show you how to set up the VWAP, also known as the volume weighted average price. Now, what the VWAP is, it's just a variation of a type of moving average. That's it. So it's not better or worse than the other moving average tools that are out there. It's just one of the variations. The only difference between the VWAP compared to a normal moving average, there's two things. So the first one is it has volume in its calculation, and it also resets at the start of every day. So the reason why I have a preference towards the VWAP is because it makes it a little bit easier for me to gauge what is the average price of this coin since the day began. Now, why that matters for me is because I mainly trade on the low time frames. So how much context I need or where I put my attention is mainly on what is happening today, right now. And also altcoins, their market conditions change so rapidly. Like on one day, a coin can be super hot, super trending. And then the next day, it basically just dies out and another coin takes the spotlight. So for example, this coin was up like more than 100% or so, like it went absolutely ballistic, and then it just started dying. And then today we have this coin, which is going absolutely ballistic. But the point is that I want to have some extra reference to what is happening today. Okay, so to actually set up the VWAP, go to the Indicators tab, upper toolbar, and just search for VWAP. And then click this one, Volume Weighted Average Price. Now, as soon as you click it, you'll have the VWAP on top of your charts. Whoops, I just deleted mine. Let's bring that back. And it's going to look something like this. Now, I'm going to walk you through how to set this up. So I'll go into VWAP and go into Settings. Now, the actual VWAP is just the center line. So whatever this blue line is, this is the volume weighted average price since the day began. And every single time that you see the VWAP basically go vertical and jump like a really massive distance, it's probably because this has happened at 00 UTC, right? Because this is when the day begins. So the average price basically resets and gets basically anchored to 00 UTC. You can see it happen over here as well. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of color schemes, we can't skip the color schemes. I just like having my VWAP as white, and I also like having the step line as well. And the other thing that you can do, I just like to have this just as a visual reference, is I'm going to put on the upper bands and the lower bands. And I'm going to leave the bands fill as unticked because I don't like having it filled with a color. Now, with the bands, I like setting the line style to the dash, so it's just a little bit not as obvious on the chart. It's more subtle. And I'll also bring the transparency down, or the opacity down to 50%. So my VWAP generally will look something like this. Now, let me explain the actual use cases of the VWAP. So the first thing that I like to look for in the VWAP is what is the actual slope of this VWAP? So what is when I say slope, I mean like what is the angle, right? What is this degree angle? If the VWAP is basically horizontal, flatlined like this, it's more likely that price is going in a sideways type of direction. Notice here, look at how the VWAP looks. It's pretty much sideways, and it's reflected in price as well. Price is kind of chopping around, going sideways. Now, when we have the VWAP sloped, especially when it has a very steep slope, it's because price is going absolutely ballistic in one main direction. So one thing that I like, and this is mainly for breakout trades, so whenever I'm going for a breakout, if price is below the VWAP, I will be looking for breakout shorts. If price is above the VWAP, I will be looking for longs. Does this mean that, oh, I can get away with just spamming shorts every single time that price is below the VWAP and I'll make money? No, that's not what I said. I said that this is one of the prerequisite, this is like one of the conditions, one of several conditions that must be met before I can decide to short support, right? Price must be below VWAP. And if I'm looking for a breakout long, so I'm looking to get long at resistance, one of the conditions that I want to be met is price has to be above the VWAP. Now, the reason why this rule is in place is to prevent me from going for momentum longs, breakout longs, when price is in an existing downtrend. It's a lot easier to go for trend fault, like longs which will perform well in a trend, in a bullish, very bullish environment, rather than go for a long which is in the opposite environment, which is a heavy downtrend, right? So the rule is just to reduce the likelihood that I'm taking longs in a heavy downtrend, or to prevent me from taking shorts in a really heavy uptrend. That's all it is. That's like the main thing. So yeah, that's those are the two main use cases. So what is the slope of the VWAP, and where is price relative to the VWAP? Is it above or below it? Oh, an extra one. So you may see that yeah, let's actually talk about the bands. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the bands. So I've seen some people use these bands as like dynamic support and resistance levels. So as in it's a support level, but it's like changing and moving as price develops. And then once price comes into it, they'll have some strategy where like they will try to get long from the VWAP band and target something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I'm just sharing that for me, my personal preference, I do not like doing that. The reason why I don't like doing that is because when you're working with dynamic levels which are constantly changing, it increases how complex the system is to execute, not only to execute, but also to review the trade screenshots. Um, it basically makes the review and the improvement process a little bit more challenging, and the ROI for using this as a support level rather than just a standard swing low, it's basically non-existent. Like they're basically the same type of supported resistance levels because the level is just a level, right? So I only use these bands as a visual aid. I don't use them as support or resistance levels. The same with the VWAP itself. I don't use this as an actual level to take trades from. I use it as a visual aid. So something that I have noticed is when price spends a significant amount of time below the bands, this is generally a sign that the strength of the downtrend is quite strong. What I mean by this is if you were to compare where are all the moments in time where price is spending above this lower band compared to below this lower band. This is like one standard deviation, by the way. And if the answer to that is, well, most of the time it's below the band, it's probably because you're looking at a pretty strong downtrend. And the opposite also applies for the uptrends, right? If price is spending a significant amount of time above these upper bands, it's probably because it's a really strong looking trend. And then when price is continuously stuck between the bands for an extended period of time, it's probably because you're not looking at a strong uptrend or a strong downtrend. You're just looking at range bound, slow, sideways type of price action. Okay, so it can be again, it's a useful visual aid, right? It's not a magical tool which is gonna make your execution super fantastic. It's just a visual aid just to make things a little bit easier to see with the naked eye, like how strong is this trend? What is the slope of the move, and like are we currently trending or ranging? That's really the only like the main use case that I use it for.